One of the core principles of vitalism is that the symptom is not the disease. Rather, it's a signal. It's drawing our attention to an imbalance. There's this bidirectional component between the plant, the ecosystem, ourselves as co-communicators, as both capable of receiving and transmitting. So within this, there's the premise also of our own witness, as that's through ourselves, the individual, a practitioner, or even the plant, as a co-creator, and having that potential aspect of co-creation of health outcomes or disease outcomes. Here's one that gets me scratching my beard a lot when in thought, this question: what if our symptoms aren't asking for a remedy? What if they're asking for an interpreter? Something that communicates, something that signals back, a guide. So welcome guys, welcome Gaians. I'm Kyle of Tippecanoe Herbs and Root Radical Herbal Academy, and in this series that I'm going to be presenting, I will be your Botanical Bio-Field guide. The biofield is a term that was coined by the National Institute of Health, and it is referring to this phenomenon of the electromagnetic plasma that exists, that surrounds our body, emanates about 6 feet from the body, and it's shaped like an apple. It's shaped in the shape of a torus. So just like an apple, there's what I call the sky stem that comes off the top of the center of our toroidal axis here, and that connects us to Father Sky. And on the bottom, just like if you look at the bottom of an apple, there's a flower there, and that's what I call the earth flower that connects us to our Mother Earth. And it's a double membrane plasma that exists within the ether. And just like the rings of a tree and the bark of a tree, the bark of this birch tree right behind me here represents the oldest part of the birch tree. And if we were to cut this tree down, I'm just kidding, but if we did, we would see in the center of that trunk is relating to the most present. So our biofield is the same way. It holds the patterns and it holds the adaptations that we've had to trauma, and all of the stories of our life are within this field. So at the edge of our biofield relates to birth, halfway through relates to halfway through life, and those distortions, those adaptations are picked up as distortions. We can see them as distortions. Just like if we were to look at the rings of a tree, we could say, look at this one. There must have been some little rain that year. Look at this one. Cicadas, right? On cue, right? Look at this one. The ample growth that year. What a great year to be a birch tree that year. So what I call the Botanical Bio-Field is a model that I've brought forth from my years of clinical practice, from the working with the plants and the myth and the story of the plants, or just also relating to the plants as having archetypical resonance. And just like the frequency determines the location of where a plant grows, for example, the plants that live in the understory of the forest have a frequency that has them adapt to that particular habitat, and the plants that live in the field or the plants that live underwater. And so is the same in relation to our own inner tree, our own tree of life, our axis mundi. There are archetypical patterns that have a resonant frequency within the canopy of our own tree of life. And it's here that I find these stories as a relationship to the myth and the mythopoetic aspects that are found in the archetypes of plants. So this series is an herb walk of that terrain, and I intend to share it to you as it's come to me, which is as a learning tool. It's not dogmatic at all. You might have a lot of different opinions on it. Maybe you have a lot of resonance and these things resonate with you. And they say, wow, that actually feels true. And that's great, because after all, one of the biggest lessons here is that we can listen with more than our ears. So please join me for a Botanical Bio-Field walk. I'll be your biofield guide. We're going to go from the bottom of the feet all the way up to the crown. We're going to talk about the herbs of the right side. We're going to talk about the herbs of the left side. And I invite you, just as you would walk onto a path in the forest or walk into a field, with a sense of wonder, of certain expectations that you can navigate through these terrains yourself, and a confidence to do so, but also a sense of wonder of what you might find. So come join along.